National Electrical Code, Section 240.24, subsection H, paragraph 1 states that electrical equipment should not be located near easily ignitable materials where the equipment is likely to ignite those materials. NEC 404.4 requires that electrical panels be installed in an accessible location that allows for future expansion, maintenance, and replacement. Based on these code requirements, it is generally not advisable to install cabinets with a countertop below a breaker panel box unless specific conditions are met. Firstly, the cabinets and countertop are made of non-combustible materials such as metal or ceramic tile. Secondly, there is sufficient clearance between the top of the cabinets and the bottom of the breaker panel box to allow for proper ventilation and accessibility for maintenance and repairs. Typically, a clearance of 12 to 18 inches is recommended. Local building codes may have additional requirements regarding cabinet placement below breaker panel boxes, so it is always best to consult with the local building official for specific guidance. Consider the location of the breaker panel box. If it is located in a high-traffic area or where there is a risk of objects falling on it, cabinets may not be a suitable option. Aesthetics should also be considered. Cabinets may not be the most visually appealing option below a breaker panel box. If cabinets are not a suitable option, consider the following alternatives. 1. Install a floating shelf that provides ample clearance from the breaker panel box. 2. Create a built-in storage unit with non-combustible materials that has a door or lid for accessibility. 3. Place a piece of non-combustible artwork or a decorative panel below the breaker panel box to conceal it. Clearance is essential to ensure that the electrical panel remains accessible for maintenance, repairs, and future upgrades. Sufficient space allows electricians to safely work on the panel without obstruction. Adequate ventilation prevents the panel from overheating, which could lead to malfunctions or even fires. The NEC mandates specific clearances around electrical panels to ensure safety and accessibility. These clearances typically include a minimum depth in front of the panel and minimum widths on either side. Check your local electrical code for specific measurements. Non-combustible materials are crucial for preventing fires in the vicinity of electrical panels. Materials like metal, ceramic tile, and concrete do not easily ignite and can help contain a fire if one were to start. Avoid using flammable materials like wood or plastic near electrical panels, as these can quickly spread flames. Always refer to the NEC for a list of approved non-combustible materials. Local building codes often have additional requirements that go beyond the NEC. These codes may address specific concerns in your area, such as seismic activity or high winds. Consult your local building official to ensure that your installation meets all applicable regulations. They can provide guidance on permits, inspections, and any specific requirements for electrical work in your jurisdiction. High traffic areas can pose a risk to electrical panels if they are not properly protected. Accidental impacts from people or objects can damage the panel, leading to electrical hazards. If your panel is located in a high traffic area, consider installing a protective barrier or relocating the panel to a safer location. Alternatives to cabinets offer various solutions for storage and aesthetics. Floating shelves provide storage without obstructing access to the electrical panel. Built-in storage units can conceal the panel while providing ample storage space. Decorative panels can enhance the visual appeal of the area without compromising safety. Before making any changes, carefully consider the pros and cons of each alternative. Proper planning and execution are essential for ensuring the safety and functionality of your electrical system. Consult with a qualified electrician to determine the best solution for your specific needs and to ensure that all work is performed in accordance with the NEC and local building codes. Electricians can assess the location of the electrical panel, evaluate the existing wiring, and recommend appropriate solutions for storage and aesthetics. They can also help you obtain the necessary permits and schedule inspections to ensure that your installation meets all applicable regulations. Safety should always be the top priority when working with electricity. Electrical panels contain high voltage components that can be dangerous if not handled properly. Never attempt to work on an electrical panel yourself unless you are a qualified electrician. Always turn off the power to the circuit before working on any electrical components. Use insulated tools and wear appropriate personal protective equipment. If you are unsure about any aspect of electrical work, consult with a qualified electrician. Ignoring electrical codes and safety precautions can have serious consequences, including electrical shocks, fires, and property damage. By following the NEC, local building codes, and best practices, you can ensure the safety and functionality of your electrical system. Remember to regularly inspect your electrical panel for any signs of damage or wear. Look for loose wires, corroded connections, or signs of overheating. If you notice any problems, contact a qualified electrician to perform repairs. Regular maintenance can help prevent electrical hazards and extend the lifespan of your electrical system. In summary, installing cabinets below a breaker panel box requires careful consideration of the NEC, local building codes, and safety precautions. Proper clearance, non-combustible materials, and professional installation are essential for ensuring the safety and functionality of your electrical system. If cabinets are not a suitable option, consider alternatives such as floating shelves, built-in storage units, or decorative panels. Always consult with a qualified electrician to determine the best solution for your specific needs and to ensure that all work is performed in accordance with applicable regulations. The NEC is a comprehensive set of standards that covers all aspects of electrical installations. It is updated every 3 years to reflect the latest advancements in technology and safety practices. Familiarize yourself with the NEC and stay up to date on any changes that may affect your electrical system. Your local building department can provide information on the latest version of the NEC and any local amendments that have been adopted. Adhering to the NEC is not only a legal requirement, but also a responsible way to protect yourself and your property from electrical hazards. Electrical safety is a shared responsibility. By following the NEC, local building codes, and best practices, you can help create a safe and reliable electrical system for your home or business. Educate yourself and others about electrical safety and take steps to prevent electrical accidents. Remember, electricity is a powerful force that should be treated with respect. By taking the necessary precautions, you can enjoy the benefits of electricity without compromising your safety. The electrical panels are designed to protect circuits from overloads and short circuits. Each circuit in your home or business is connected to a breaker in the electrical panel. When a circuit is overloaded, the breaker trips, interrupting the flow of electricity and preventing damage to the wiring and appliances. It is important to understand how your electrical panel works and how to reset a trip breaker. Locate the trip breaker in the panel. It will typically be in the off position or in the middle position between on and off. To reset the breaker, first turn it all the way to the off position, then turn it back to the on position. If the breaker trips again immediately, there may be a short circuit or overload in the circuit. Unplug any appliances or devices connected to the circuit and try resetting the breaker again. If the breaker continues to trip, contact a qualified electrician to diagnose and repair the problem. Never attempt to bypass a breaker or overload a circuit. This can create a fire hazard and damage your electrical system. Always use the correct size breaker for each circuit and follow the manufacturer's instructions for operating electrical appliances and devices. Electrical panels should be properly labeled to identify the circuits they control. This can save time and effort when troubleshooting electrical problems. Use a circuit directory to document which circuits power which lights, outlets, and appliances. Keep the circuit directory up to date and easily accessible. If you are unsure about any aspect of your electrical panel or electrical system, consult with a qualified electrician. They can provide expert advice and assistance to ensure the safety and reliability of your electrical system. Electrical panels are typically located in a basement, garage, or utility room. They should be easily accessible for maintenance and repairs. Avoid blocking access to the electrical panel with furniture or other objects. Keep the area around the electrical panel clear and well lit. The electrical panels should be inspected regularly for any signs of damage or wear. Look for loose wires, corroded connections, or signs of overheating. If you notice any problems, contact a qualified electrician to perform repairs. Regular maintenance can help prevent electrical hazards and extend the lifespan of your electrical system. Electrical panels should be protected from moisture and other environmental factors. Avoid installing electrical panels in damp or humid locations. If you must install an electrical panel in a damp location, use a weatherproof enclosure to protect it from moisture. Electrical panels should be grounded to provide a safe path for electricity to flow in the event of a fault. Grounding helps to prevent electrical shocks and other hazards. Ensure that your electrical panel is properly grounded and that the grounding connections are secure. Electrical panels should be installed by a qualified electrician. Improper installation can create a fire hazard and other safety risks. Always hire a licensed and insured electrician to install your electrical panel and to perform any other electrical work. Electrical panels are an essential part of your electrical system. By understanding how they work and following these safety tips, you can help to ensure the safety and reliability of your electrical system. Remember, electrical safety is a shared responsibility. By taking the necessary precautions, you can protect yourself and your property from electrical hazards. The height of the countertop is a crucial factor when determining the appropriate clearance between the countertop and the breaker panel. Standard countertop heights typically range from 34 to 36 inches. The NEC requires a minimum headroom clearance of 6 feet 6 inches for electrical equipment, including breaker panels. This means that the top of the breaker panel should be at least 6 feet 6 inches above the floor. Therefore, if you install a countertop below a breaker panel, you need to ensure that there is sufficient clearance to meet both the NEC headroom requirement and the recommended clearance between the countertop and the bottom of the breaker panel. In some cases, it may be necessary to raise the breaker panel to meet these requirements. This can be a complex and expensive undertaking, so it is important to carefully consider all of the factors before making a decision. In addition to the NEC requirement, local building codes may have additional restrictions on the placement of cabinets and countertops near electrical panels. It is always best to consult with your local building official to ensure that your installation meets all applicable regulations. The accessibility of the breaker panel is another important consideration. The NEC requires that electrical panels be readily accessible for maintenance and repairs. This means that you should be able to easily reach the panel without having to move any obstacles. If you install cabinets below a breaker panel, you need to ensure that the cabinets do not obstruct access to the panel. You may need to leave a gap between the cabinets and the panel or use cabinets with removable doors or panels. The aesthetic impact of cabinets below a breaker panel is also a factor to consider. Cabinets can be a visually appealing addition to a finished basement, but they may not be the best choice if they obstruct access to the breaker panel or create a safety hazard. Consider alternative storage solutions that do not involve placing cabinets directly below the breaker panel. Floating shelves, built-in storage units, and decorative panels can provide storage and enhance the appearance of the area without compromising safety. The cost of installing cabinets below a breaker panel can vary depending on the size and type of cabinets, the materials used, and the complexity of the installation. It is important to get multiple estimates from qualified contractors before making a decision. Be sure to factor in the cost of any necessary electrical work, such as raising the breaker panel or installing new wiring. The potential impact on resale value is another consideration. While cabinets can add value to a finished basement, they may not be appealing to all buyers if they obstruct access to the breaker panel or create a safety hazard. Consider the long-term implications of your decision and choose a solution that will enhance the value and appeal of your home. In summary, installing cabinets below a breaker panel is a complex issue with many factors to consider. The NEC, local building codes, accessibility, aesthetics, cost, and resale value all play a role in the decision-making process. Carefully weigh all of the factors and consult with qualified professionals before making a decision. Safety should always be the top priority when working with electricity. Electrical panels contain high-voltage components that can be dangerous if not handled properly. Never attempt to work on an electrical panel yourself unless you are a qualified electrician. Always turn off the power to the circuit before working on any electrical components. Use insulated tools and wear appropriate personal protective equipment. If you are unsure about any aspect of electrical work, consult with a qualified electrician. The NEC specifies the types of working space needed around electrical equipment. Working space includes clear access and egress to permit safe operation and maintenance of equipment. Section 110.26 specifies dimensions of working space in front of electrical equipment operating at 600 volts, nominal or less. The depth of the working space depends on the voltage to ground and the condition of the location. For example, Condition 1 requires a minimum depth of 3 feet where there are exposed live parts on one side and no live or grounded parts on the other side of the working space, or exposed live parts on one side and grounded parts on the other side where guarded as described in 110.27a. Condition 2 requires a minimum depth of 3.5 feet where there are exposed live parts on one side and grounded parts on the other side where unguarded. Condition 3 requires a minimum depth of 4 feet where there are exposed live parts on both sides of the working space. The width of the working space must be at least 30 inches or the width of the equipment, whichever is greater. The height of the working space must be at least 6 feet 6 inches or the height of the equipment, whichever is greater. The working space must be clear and unobstructed. There must be clear access and egress to the working space. The working space must be adequately illuminated. The NEC also specifies requirements for dedicated equipment space. Dedicated equipment space is the space above and below electrical equipment that is reserved for the exclusive use of the equipment. Section 110.26e specifies requirements for dedicated equipment space. The dedicated equipment space must extend from the floor to a height of 6 feet above the equipment or to the structural ceiling, whichever is lower. No piping, ductwork, or other equipment foreign to the electrical equipment can be located in the dedicated equipment space. The NEC also specifies requirements for headroom around electrical equipment. Headroom is the vertical space above electrical equipment. Section 110.26f specifies requirements for headroom. The headroom must be at least 6 feet 6 inches. The headroom must be clear and unobstructed. The NEC also specifies requirements for illumination around electrical equipment. Illumination is the amount of light provided in the area around electrical equipment. Section 110.26d specifies requirements for illumination. The illumination must be adequate to permit safe operation and maintenance of the equipment. The NEC also specifies requirements for access and egress around electrical equipment. Access is the ability to reach the electrical equipment. Egress is the ability to leave the area around the electrical equipment. Section 110.26c specifies requirements for access and egress. There must be clear access and egress to the electrical equipment. The access and egress must be of sufficient size to permit safe operation and maintenance of the equipment. The NEC also specifies requirements for doors and hinge panels around electrical equipment. Doors and hinge panels must be able to open at least 90 degrees. The NEC also specifies requirements for locks and latches on electrical equipment. Locks and latches must be able to prevent unauthorized access to the electrical equipment. The NEC also specifies requirements for warning signs and labels on electrical equipment. Warning signs and labels must be able to clearly identify the electrical equipment and warn of potential hazards. In addition to the NEC requirements, local building codes may have additional requirements for working space, dedicated equipment space, headroom, illumination, access, egress, doors, hinge panels, locks, latches, and warning signs. It is always best to consult with your local building official to ensure that your installation meets all applicable regulations. Working space is critical for electrical safety. By providing adequate working space, dedicated equipment space, headroom, illumination, access, egress, doors, hinge panels, locks, latches, and warning signs, you can help to ensure the safety of yourself and others who may be working on or around electrical equipment.